Hello everyone, namaste. Now we are starting era of videos in English. My name is Tiago. Namaste. I work mainly with Ayurveda, yoga, and Jyotish in the internet. I'm living in Brazil. I'm Brazilian, but I have more than 1,000 and maybe 100 videos Irish and the culture. And now starting point because there are some topics that are more easily understood by people that went to India more times, and there are more people that went to India that speak English than only people that speak Portuguese. So I have one series of videos that is called The Chaos and the Cosmos. That it's in Portuguese, and if you want, if you understand Portuguese, you can watch it there, also on my channel. We are going to very important in Western mind thinks and learns mainly, and how Indian Hindu mind learns. That I'm making this online live event transmission today is that I'm working in a group now that is studying the Ashtanga Hridaya by Dr. Sanjay Pisharodi. He made one book. He published one book recently about the first 4 chapters on Ashtanga Hridaya. That it's maybe the the most important book in Ayurveda in Kerala, in the southern part of India. In the northern part of India, maybe Charak Samhita is used as the first reference on studies. But in the south of India, Vagbhata's Ashtanga Hridaya, Ashtanga Sangraha are considered the main tests. And since we're studying this, and it's a very special moment for my studies, there are some challenges, I would not say problems, but challenges on how to communicate with Indian way of thinking. I'm not going to say Indian people, and to communicate with Western way of thinking. Just to summarize the point, the main idea is that it's simple. Western mind is used to think from institutional perspective, and Indian mind is used to think from a guruship perspective. I'm going to explain what that means. But the point is that we have a lot of important difference on what is the truth, what is the final truth in any subject, doesn't matter. So in the West, we are more influenced by Saturnian energy, and we believe that the thing that it's right for one people, one person, should be the same to other person. Human beings are treated uniformly. Doesn't matter the gender, doesn't matter the race, doesn't matter the caste, doesn't matter whatever. In a Saturnian perspective, there is no fundamental difference between person A and person B. And this is how our mind is structured, in a sense that we feel that there are some difference between people, but the way that we should treat them, usually it relates to the idea that they are from the same essence, and this implies that they deserve the same kind of treatment just like Dharma, Raja, just like Saturn, just like this idea of the great judge, the universal judge. For us, God is like a judge. For us, I would say Western way of thinking. When you need to, doesn't matter if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're a black skin, white skin, doesn't matter. Your act is going to be treated the same if you are from a Brahmin case, if you are a Kshatriya case, if you are a politician, if you are a priest, doesn't matter. Okay? The rules, the laws should be, in a relative way of speaking, almost the same for everyone. You can say, oh, there are some difference, that there are some laws specific for women, there are some laws specific for children, there are some laws specific for groups. Okay? So they are groups. So our difference is going to be made on categories. There's going to be made on specific slots, Aristotelic slots, where you put all this group there. And everyone that has that characteristic is going to be treated in the same way. Okay? But mainly, you should, we in the West believe that every human, before it was man, but okay, nowadays it's every human has some basic rights, fundamental rights, that supports the idea of democracy, supports the idea of republic, supports the idea of whatever, that it's against the idea that are inherent show difference from people. That when you go to school, so we are getting into the point now of the learning process, doesn't matter so much if you are if you are on a, if you are from the slums, if the Western that is sufficient to pass the exam, you are going to be accepted in that university, in that school. Your marginal point is to this person deserve it or not, in a way that everyone makes the same test. The examination should be okay. Mind, this is just like, okay, this is to be wrong. This is how the natural laws of the society, how it should work. But the point is that this is a model. If the before Illuminism, this that case, but in the West we use more the word classes, that had different kind of rights. The king had different kind of rights from the servant, from the priest, from the merchant. Okay, and now we are going a little bit eastwards to the Indian cultural scheme. Not only in India, but in the East, in a more broader perspective, people are essentially different, and this implies that the society should treat them differently in different groups. Different groups have substantially different set of rights and wrongs. Right in a sense of what is right to do, and right in a sense of the legal term that you have the right to do something. For an example, the same ethics and the same laws that applies to all the kings is not going to be the same laws and the same principles that apply to all the merchants and all the priests and all the um, working class. Let's use this word, but the original idea is that the kshatriyas, the kings, the politicians, the brahmins, the educators, the priests, the vaishyas, the merchant class, the business people, and the shudras, the labor force, the working class, all of them should have a different set of rights and wrongs. Okay, so this is on the but the point a show of them more precise manner or in a lesser precise manner should respect, and this is the one that it's socially authorized truth. What is the fundamental truth for that sector? This is not a modern Western way of thinking, but what we say, just this is what it was the legal frame society. The point here is that when we are learning in a school in the West, we are learning from a Mercurian perspective. That means I have some rights and I have some duties. My rights are, if I pay the amount that the teacher is asking, I have the right to receive what the teacher say that he's going to give me. And if I don't receive what he told me that he was going to give me, I can blame him, I can sue him, I can whatever. Curse is not actually a word for that. But I can go legally against him. I go to institution governed by Saturn, that are the courts, and I say, look, we have some agreement here, and we are going to discuss the terms of these agreements, if they were complied or not. If they were not complied, I want to receive some kind of indemnization. So in the West, mainly the teacher is like a servant. In a way, as Socrates was say, it's a sophist. He doesn't teach it because he feels that important. He can also feel that, but he's teaching mainly because he wants to receive a payment for that. Okay, so this is the Mercurian way of teaching and learning. And in this Western way of living that we live, we should learn principles the same time at the same moment, and there is due law, due process of rights, learning, or whatever. But in India, each student is substantially, it's dramatically different from each other. They have different karma, they have different merits, they have different rights. So the guru is authorized to say some things to one shisha, to one disciple, is not the word proper here, is not student. And if he understands that the other shisha is not ready to receive that information, for the guru is just fine not to say the same information for both of them, because He is the one that has the authority to decide what should be taught to each person. And this is just like, oh, crazy for the Western mind. Because, man, this is not right. Everyone's the same. Why are discriminating people? Because in the Indian way of mm, learning and Indian way of um, thinking the world, different karmas deserve different treatments. Different backgrounds deserve different kinds of approach. In the West, we now grasp this principle with the idea that treating unequal people unevenly, it's right. Because if you treat uneven people equally, this is not going to be uh, very just. Just like for the affirmation policies for indigenous people, for American descendants, for black colored people, doesn't matter. In Brazil, there are some affirmation policies to people that are with some kind of physical disability, with any kind of historical disability. This can be about the not white skinned people. This can be about the Indian people. Doesn't matter. But the point is that the main tenet in West is everyone is the same. In the eyes of justice. So Minerva, it's blind. And what does it represent? It should be blind to superficial differences. It should be treating them with the scale and with the sword. This is our cultural paradigm. I don't know. But in the East, as a general, but in India, and specifically what we are speaking, the teacher knows what should be taught to each student at each moment, and the guru should be giving the information as he understands that it's appropriate, and in the end of the course of the studies, only then the guru has the right to ask for a payment. This is not the correct word for dakshina, a retribution that can be monetary or not. And the shisha, the student, should be 100% in his way to accomplish that mission that is the dakshina request. It can be throw yourself on the cliff. Usually not like that. But the point is that it doesn't have to be just. It doesn't have to be the same for everyone. It has to be what the guru understands that it's better to the student. So you have to have blind faith on your guru. And the point is that each guru has some different point of views from the other next door. And the main trouble for the Western mind is that if you the commentaries of Ashtanga Hridaya from one guru, it can be substantially quite different from the commentaries of the other guru. And the students from the school one the shisha of the school one, are they going to defend that this is the final truth. My guru told me. It's not possible that it's wrong. And the school number 2 is going to say, this is the truth. My guru told me. It cannot be wrong. And the students, the shisha of the school number 3, they're going to say the same. 4, 5, 6, infinite, maybe. And the point is that there is not going to be a final decision of what is the school that has the final word on this. If you are not complying to that tradition, you break from that tradition and you start a new tradition. That's why in India you have infinite times infinite numbers of tradition, because they accommodate different point of views, and each one of them has the specific guidance of a guru. Doesn't matter if it's with long bird or not. The point is that the final decision of what is true to one person is what the guru taught them. Okay? Contrary to the Western way of thinking, the Mercurian way of thinking, where you should question your guru, your teacher. I'm sorry for that, and also make your own point of view independent of any kind of authority. There is no more pope in the science. There is only kind of congregation of popes, but not the final pope. And the point is that in the West, we believe that the science should be decided by the scientists. And they make one specific arrangement, and when it stills, they say that this is the truth. And it can be NASA, it can be Harvard, it can be, doesn't matter. And when there is some shaking on this process, there's going to be another school, not guru, to clash with the other school. It's not going to be from person guru A to person guru B. It's going to be from institution A clashing with institution B. And there is some studies this in the epistemology of science in the West of Thomas Kuhn, and also the name of the other is now not here. But the point is that there are some understanding on how the scientific paradigm, I don't know if that's how we pronounce it, how it shifts, okay, in the West. But in the East, there are some sacred parampara lineage of transmission of perfect true knowledge. And this is just like horrible for the Western mind that says that no kind of superior authority should be in the scientific process. And in India, this is not what should be. In India, the most prepared person should be leading all the rest. Because if you put a lot of people to decide this democratically, probably you're going to be leveling from the bottom, not from the roof. So when we study in the West, we study by the book, not by the teacher. And in the East, we study in India, we study by the teacher, and if it's necessary, by the book that the teacher said that this is the book, like Ashtanga Hridaya for Kerala Ayurveda, and Charak Samhita for North Indian Ayurveda and whatever. This is one part that it's important. The other part that it's important is that since we are ruled by a more materialistic foreground, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Rahu, in the West, we understand the time flow in a linear manner. This is another topic. In the East, since the energies are more related to Ketu, Jupiter, Sun, Chandra, Mars is not important there in this point of view. It's mainly Ketu, Jupiter, and Sun. The idea is that the final truth, it's inside you, not outside you. And the person that is the best one to unlock these mysteries is the guru, because he has already walked that path. And he has already adventured where the stones are not so firm, where you can fall, where you can break your head, and whatever. But the point is that this is the term that I use nowadays. Indian way of thinking has spherical thinking, and Western way of thinking has linear thinking. This means that if you are studying in the right manner in the West, you should go from point 1 to point 2, to point 3, point 4, to point 5, to point infinite. Doesn't matter. Okay? You should not step backwards. But in a sphere, where is the beginning and where is the end? It doesn't make so much sense. You can say, oh, the place where you pump the air is the beginning. But this is just one point that is possible. There is infinite points in a sphere where you can start, where you can finish, and the ways that you can go round and round and round the world. And there is one other problem, that in India you are not bound in this incarnation because you're going to reincarnate. So they are not in a hurry. They can speak just like the same thing several times, because they understand that this spherical thinking, it can be like a spiral. If you look from top perspective, it probably is going to feel like this, going round and round in circles. But if you look in a spiral perspective, this is going to be making a lot of changes. Look, Western way of seeing what Indians are saying. And how Indians feel that Indians are speaking. So they don't mind to repeat the same slokas 24,000 times in a lifetime, because they understand this in a spiral way of thinking, not a circular and not going nowhere. So the main purpose here of this speak today is to give some talk on the idea that when we go to India and we talk to Indianized people, people that are trained to see the world in a way that ancient Indians did, we are speaking inside a completely different set of rules. Time is not linear. Time is circular. It's always coming and going. The progress is spherical. It changes dimensions like an onion that it has different layers. It's not arrow that is set over the time and you should go in forwards to progress. And also, the guru has the final word, not the book, not the institution. It can be the institution and the book if the guru says, but it's because of what guru said, not because of its inherent nature. Okay, so once again, if you are watching this now and you didn't get the beginning, if you understand Portuguese, there is in my channel a series of videos, Caos e o Cosmos, that it's good to go deep in this problems. It's just like a very harsh word for that. But it's maybe also interesting because maybe some Indian people that don't understand why Westerns do those kind of weird questions, how we are trained to think and trained to operate, to work. Okay, so I hope that this is a helpful video. At least for me, it's quite funny to remember some stories of going to India and having some angry thoughts about that messy country and all that stuff. But after sometimes there is some more deeper and more relaxed understanding what they are doing, what they are experiencing, and how we Westerners can start to understand a little bit more of them. And maybe I don't know if this is going to work, but if it works, fine. It may help the Indian people that think in this kind of way to connect with Western mind. Okay, so thanks for watching. Please share, please give your like, and namaste, everyone.